Hello, I'm live. So today we're going to be talking about making virtual classes interesting. Now, this can be for teachers, maybe you're a teacher and you want to know what you can do to make classes interesting. Another tip, another trick, and this can be used like I'm a classroom teacher. I could use this in the classroom while I'm while I'm teaching a class. I have a TV and I can mirror my iPad onto the TV. So I could be doing that during classes. I'm kind of thinking about that. How can I make my in-person classes a little more interesting, a little more student friendly, I guess. I like to have the kids do as much as they can with their paper and pencil. That's what I do. We don't do Chromebooks for regular classes at the school that I work at. And I like to have the students just do the problems during class so that I am available to help them rather than me just doing everything for them. And a lot of times when I call the kids up to the board, it can get a little bit, it takes more time than I prefer. So I like to come up with a variety of ways that we can do the same work, but make it interesting. And I found this way that did with my virtual student today, and I thought that I would share it with you. Now, what I do in my classes that I teach at, I teach a traditional method. So we teach very basic skills, just the really basic skills, being really good at your multiplication tables, being really quick on your addition facts. And we work on this to get some speed going as well, not just how do you do it, but can I do it efficiently? Can I do it quickly? Can I do it, with some you know some within a certain time frame. Like sometimes you can know how to do something, but knowing how to do it quickly and accurately takes practice. And so that's what I try to emphasize. I teach grades 7 through 10 right now at the school I'm at. In previous years I've done all the grades from 1st to 8th grade of math classes for the whole school. So the kids would come and go out of my class all day long, and I actually really liked that because I could just really work on those basic skills. And it was a lot of fun watching the students grow. I did that for like 2 years at one school. And then the next school I went to, I taught all 5th grade. And I really like being at a small school where I can teach the same students a few years in a row, which I'm not sure they love, but I love it because I can really see the growth and I can get to know the students in a really close way, and I can really work on their math skills. And I have to say the last school I've been at, the school I'm going to again next year, they I've had the same students for 3 years, and there's one group of students I'm probably not gonna have next year, and I'm really sad about it. But I've seen them grow so much, and that is exciting to know that they've done so well and that they're ready to go to the next step, so whatever it may be. So I'm really excited to show this today. Now, I am working on my can-do math tutoring business. So if you are a person who has a student or you know someone who needs some math skills to work on this summer, or if you would like your student to just do math games, I am my own boss in this business. So that's cool. I can reach out to you. I can like offer you my services. I have a booking page now where I can send to my customers, and I can have you either book a consult call, which would be a 30 minutes call, or you can book me for a 25-minute lesson or a 50-minute lesson. And so that can be at your discretion. We can talk for the consultation call and talk about a plan for your student, and we can go from there. So I'm really excited about being able to do this. Now, there's reasons why I kind of went this route rather than I was teaching for outschool.com. My name is still in there. I'm able to teach for them if I want to, but there were a few things. One of the things I really didn't like about teaching for them was that at one point in time, I had a piano student that I loved. They loved me. It turned out I started out with a piano class, and we had like 4 students, and they all did great. And then I offered another class. It was like a private lesson, and I had a couple students that rebooked me for that. And then one student kept me even longer than that. Like I did like certain sections for a certain number of weeks. I can't remember, like 12 weeks in a row or something. And so one family kept me on, and I just really loved this student. I think he was a prodigy. Like he did so well with piano. And then his parents wanted me to help him with singing. So we did some singing lessons. And so there were times where the parent was like, "Hey, the student is not ready for class today. Can we just book it for tomorrow?" And I'd be like, "Okay." And so I would rebook it. But then according to Outschool, I was canceling the class. It made me look like a bad teacher when I was actually being a nice teacher. So working for myself, I can do whatever I want. I can communicate with the parent. And if we change the day or something comes up and we cancel, then I'm not on the hook for a company and making myself look bad. I mean, if I'm doing a terrible job and the parent doesn't want to book for me, so be it, right? Then that's my own fault. But I like the idea of working for myself, making my own hours and being able to talk to the parent, have a friendship, make my own rules. And so I do have a website that's coming up. I'm working on it. My last thing that I'm going to be doing is legal information, which I didn't realize was needed for a website, which makes sense. Like I need to do privacy policy, terms and conditions, cancellation policy, refund policy, stuff like that, which I didn't really think of. So I have been working on this for a while, and I'm learning a lot. And I didn't realize that I have seen this on other people's websites, but I had never really realized what was going into it. So yeah, I'm serious about this. Thanks, Kelly. Now, what keeps me going? What keeps me going? I am not overbooked right now. So what keeps me going is whenever I talk to people, they say this is so needed. It's so needed. And also, I don't believe I've really reached the people, the well of people that need this service yet. I'm working on how do I market my product? How do I get the word out there? How do I make this known? And I think the longer I'm doing it, the more serious it looks and the more credible I am to those who might want to book my services. But it's not like if you book with me and you get one lesson and you decide, hey, it's not for me, then you don't have to keep booking with me, right? It's really no skin off your nose. So if you're interested in trying a lesson, let me know and we can work something out. And really right now I am tutoring right now for the summer. I have a small clientele at this point, but I am looking for more services, and I'm putting up more videos on YouTube because I really would like to continue putting the word out there about this service, and I would like to get more clients for the summer. We're still June, beginning of June. It is kind of hot here this week. And so I'm sure kids are outside playing in the pool and stuff like that. But just think about it. If you book with me maybe twice a week in the morning before it gets hot, you're done, and you're preparing your student for the future. And also, I have teacher friends, and I would like to help my teacher friends with technology and things you can do to make things interesting. And maybe someday down the road, you want to be a tutor and you can work on some of these things as well. So today, I am going to talk to you about this method that I found. Maybe some of you teachers have already figured it out. But I'm on StreamYard right now, and I've tried to go live on Zoom from Zoom, and it's a little more complicated. I need to keep practicing on that one. So I'm on StreamYard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen to Canva. But when I'm on Zoom, I can actually share my screen to my iPad, okay? Which comes in really handy because my iPad is a touch screen. So with my iPad, I have a stylus. I don't use an Apple Pencil. I have my stylus, which I will show you. This is my stylus. It kind of looks like an Apple Pencil, but it's like $20 as opposed to $100. So I use the stylus and I connect my iPad to my Zoom, and then I can go straight to Canva from my iPad. And this is really amazing. I can also do it with my computer. So there you have my front page, which is in my thumbnail. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go to sharing my screen, and instead of doing it on my iPad, I'm going to do it on my StreamYard here, which kind of makes it a little more difficult because I can't see it. I wish you could share iPads and phones from StreamYard. Yeah, that would make things a lot easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I can't see everything on StreamYard right now from my tab. And if I was really good at my computer, I could show you in another way, but there's always something new to learn. Anyway, so this is the little thing that I made, and you can hide that. And then you can come over to the side and you can see the draw button. The draw button will bring you out to your drawing utensils. So this presentation actually was created in Canva. So if you have a concept that you are studying, that you go search Canva, see if they have a presentation already made up for you. So my student is a little older, so this was really basic review, but I thought it was really cool. So we went to the second page. We can talk about the numerator and the denominator. I can circle things. Now my student could not circle, but I know that sometimes students can interact. Now I tried sending the link to my student, but she couldn't figure out how to use the link and to write on the screen. But she would tell me which one to circle, and I circled it for her. So hopefully, eventually, I will figure out how I can interact with my student. Now, in my school that I teach at every day during the school year, it's a Christian school, so it's a small amount of students. We have some students that drive a long way, and they come Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're virtual on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I can use this method for my class. So during the class, I turn on the virtual screen, I put on Zoom, and then I have my regular class, and I can just go to the top of either my computer or my iPad, and I can share whatever's on my screen onto the TV. What is it called? Mirror my screen. And so that works out really well. So I could do this. So some kids can and can't circle. Some kids can and can't take over your screen if you give them remote control. Depends on their device and mouse skills. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like some of my virtual students, oh yeah, I can write on the screen, no problem. Other ones can't, but I haven't figured out what devices work and which ones don't. So I'm sure that's complicated too. So anyway, so we can just kind of go through these slides, which like I said, are created by Canva. And I just kind of went through the different slides like this, very basic. You can see these are some things that I already wrote on the screen for my student. You could hide what I have on the bottom if you want to. And then what I did was I added pages. So then I had a whiteboard. and I was able to talk to my student about different terminology. I think that's part of the problem with kids today is learning the actual vocabulary that goes along with the concept. So that's what I emphasize, because once you tell the student this is what we're doing, they're like, "Oh," and they automatically kick in with what they've learned. But they don't necessarily know. You are reducing the fraction. You are putting the fraction in lowest terms. You are, okay, this was a problem that we practiced for order of operations. Then we went back to fractions again, and we talked about reducing fractions. And then we talked about, whoops, okay, you can make that bigger. We talked about what is a mixed fraction, what is improper fraction. And as you can see, I'm kind of working on neatness in my own writing. It's kind of hard when you're doing the screens. It's very slippery. And I think for me, it's going to take a little practice with my just trying to write neater. And I write fast and it's not always the neatest, but I love those slides. I'm getting way more reading learners than math learners. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And, reading is a big, huge issue. And I'm glad that parents are getting into that. And I think that I've noticed that reading tutors really do a great job with doing tutoring. So then we talked about making equivalent fractions. We talked about cross multiplying. We did a bunch of stuff here. And then we talked about multiplying fractions. And so this is kind of cool because I also can keep the slides. So I can go back to what we did before. I can review the vocabulary and I can talk about the different things that we talked about, review, going back and forth. So thank you, Kelly, for understanding. It's hard to be neat when you're writing with a mouse. I actually write with my stylus on my iPad, which is easier to do neatly than with the mouse. I don't really use my mouse. I have a MacBook Pro, so I don't have a touchscreen computer. But I think a lot of it is I just kind of go too fast and I need to be more careful about being neater. But that's really cool. I discovered that today. I sent the link to my student and she was able to get the slides, but she still said she wasn't able to necessarily edit them, which she would have to be able to edit in order to write. I was hoping that we could use that as a whiteboard, and I didn't want to spend a lot of time out of our lesson to work on technology. So I didn't pursue that, but it might be something that we can work on in the future. But I love how I could use the slides and write on those slides. And then I was able to use the blank slides for a whiteboard, and I'm able to save them because I can write. I have a whiteboard on my iPad that I use quite frequently. And I use this for school, but it erases, it doesn't save. Now, the whiteboard on Zoom does save, so you could go back, but I really think the Canva method is probably the easiest and quickest. So Rebecca has a touch screen. It's a game changer for me, but still hard to be super neat. Yeah. So what I do in my classes in person too, instead of having them come up and write on the board, I will pass my iPad around and they can do the problem on the iPad. It goes up on the TV. So that way we don't have as much walking around in the classroom. And actually the kids look forward to doing it. So it's kind of a treat to be able to, oh, it's my turn, and they're anxious to have their turn on the iPad, which is kind of cool. So we're still doing math problems, but we're also doing it with in a fun way that they enjoy. So that's what I like. Now, another thing you can do with Canva, and this is what I'm going to do I had it kind of set up. I wasn't completely ready today. I will share my screen again. I will show you my Canva thing. and I'll show you my other setup thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to come off of here and I'm going to go to home. I'm going to go to recent. Okay, so this is what I have for my next activity. All right, so I have, my idea is to go to this screen, and I also have some questions. Now, my student really loves dogs. Okay, so you can't see that. Interesting. Okay, so let me see. That's weird. Am I still on here? Okay, I'm on StreamYard, but that's weird how you can't see what I'm looking at. Okay, let me try again. Share this tab. Okay, so can you see it? Yeah, now you can see it. Okay, so this is like dog print. And my idea for this one is, you know how in our virtual teaching English as a second language, we would have rewards. So my idea is that during every few minutes during my class, I'm going to talk about, what do you think I'm going to talk about? Dogs. So it's kind of, you can choose something that your student really likes, and then you can, put anything on this that you want. You can. Okay. So I am back. That was weird. Is she still on for you? Okay. So I don't know, something happened with StreamYard and it messed up on me. So hopefully we're good. Let me know if you guys are with me still. It went off, but it's back on according to what I can see. Uh, okay. Okay. So I'm still live. So here I am. Okay. The StreamYard just cut off on me. Okay. So I'm going to present. So my idea is that we go to this page and we see that we have a question. What is your favorite dog? Now you can make these up, your favorite, whatever you want, whatever the student really likes. And then you could say, oh, you love poodles. Oh, there's a really cute poodle. And then you could talk about poodles. Why is that your favorite dog? Or maybe your student loves, I don't know, what other kind of dogs are there? Saint Bernard. My daughter has a Saint Bernard. It's huge. It's so cute though. And its name is Sheila. It's huge. So you could pick one of those and you could talk about it. And that's a Saint Bernard. So, and then you could ask other questions about dogs. You could have it typed up ahead of time, anything like that. And then it's just kind of a way to interact with your student. And then here's my final photo. So that's another thing that you can do. You can also play games with Canva, and I have done that before, and it's a lot of fun. Black mouth cur. I wonder if that's even on the list. I guess we can go check. Black mouth cur. Okay, so you have to go to elements. So sometimes I will, is this what it looks like? I think we need to, let's put that on another page. And even with these, they have little videos, which I have done before as well. You could get a funny video about a dog. And like I said, you could have this set up ahead of time, and you would just do any kind of creative ideas. So those are some ideas that I have to go up on. So I'm going to do stop sharing. There we go. So what do you guys think? So the sky's the limit with Canva, really. I mean, anything you want to do, if you want to play a game, you could type in game. They might have a game all made up for you. The other thing I did was, have you guys been using Chat GPT at all? So for Chat GPT, you could go to Chat GPT, which I will show you. Chat GPT can be used for a variety of things. Someone told me all about it, and I didn't know anything about it. And so I will show you what I have here. So, still with the theme of the dog, I went to Chat GPT and I find out, ask some questions. What are some good questions about dogs? And here's some questions that you could ask. And then here are some answers. What's your favorite breed? And there's some, what do you think are most important things to consider, which gives you some answers for that. So you could talk about those, name 3 dog breeds. You could talk about that. And, I just chose dogs. You could pick anything, anything that is randomly something that you want to talk about. And you could just use that as kind of a quick way to get information instead of you looking it up yourself. It's a way to use Chat GPT, and we're not actually, trying to write a report with it or something. We're just doing it to make a game or to have a discussion. There are lots of ways that you could use it. So you could talk about any topic, like if you're doing, the United States, you could pick a state at a time and discuss it. And, just whatever you think of that would be something that would interest your students. So this is a great way to help students and keep them interested in your lesson. You could even do this on the spot if you are good at it. So you see your student is zoning out, and it's good to have something up your sleeve that you can choose from. Now, I'm going to try and be looking at some games. I have a friend, Natalie Wright. She's on YouTube. She's called the Ed Tech Wizard. She also has a Facebook group, and she makes games, and I like to watch her videos, get some ideas. It kind of helps you to prime the pump for your own ideas as well. She's really professional about it, and this is helping me to come up with some good ideas. Also, I like to just find ways that I can interest the students. Now, when we did virtual teaching, we always did stars, 5 stars within a half hour. Oh, that's really great. You get a star, or you could do that idea, but make it a little more interactive. And maybe instead of giving a star, you could show a little video. Now, one of the things that's really bugging me is that I cannot do my Manicam. So Manicam, I can use it for making a video or something, but I can't use it to go into Zoom, and I can't use it to go into StreamYard. Usually I have a border on my StreamYard, but there's something about with the MacBook Pro that it won't do Manicam. I still haven't figured it out. So I'm kind of pivoting with that Manicam idea, and now I'm back into Canva, and I can share my screen and work on things that way. Now, for my classes, I also have some books right here with like next to me so that I can get whatever my topic is. I have books right here. I can pick problems right out of the book. This week I'm working on fractions with my student, and we're doing everything fractions. And interesting a lot enough, there's a dog right here. Now I did pick dogs because my student, she has a dog, and sometimes the dog's on her lap, sometimes the dog is barking, sometimes she has to go attend to the dog. So I figured, okay, she likes dogs. So let's go with it. And she also loves marine animals. And so I figured I'm going to kind of intersperse the games. I don't do them every single day, but maybe make it something special that comes up when we least expect it. So thank you so much, Kelly, for coming. I appreciate the videos that you're doing on your channel. I've in the middle of watching the video about the special needs teachers. Now, I will say that in response to that video, it's really hard in a classroom situation to accommodate all the special needs. And I have at my school, technically the kids come in and they're all the same like level. Like we teach the same thing to everyone. And there are some kids that come in with special requests and things like that. It's really hard because we only have one teacher and we're trying to accommodate everyone is not really that as much a problem as it is like how do you grade it? Like if you're teaching things differently to every student, how do you put a grade on that? Like if this student is doing all their work A++ and they're there for every single class and they sit and do all their work and they get A+++, and then you have somebody with special needs, maybe they can't come to every class, maybe they have health issues or whatever the case may be. How do you do the grades for all of that? So in my inclusion class this year, the special needs were not too severe. In preschool, no grades. Yeah, that makes it easier. Like homeschool, I didn't really give grades either because I figured I know my kids know it or they don't. And I was really happy that my kids, when they went to school, they did really well. They acted like, I've never been to school. How's this going to work? But they actually worked really well. And my kids that have been in school all along since kindergarten to first grade, second grade, um, they kind of learned the school, how you get, I feel like school in a way can be like an escalator. You get on the escalator and it takes you this way, no matter what you do. And I feel like that's not always to their benefit. Sometimes it is, hey, I'll go to school. I know I went there, even though I have a massive headache. At least I was there and I learned a little bit of something. But, sometimes you can get used to just riding the escalator rather than actually participating. But in middle school, a para helped with the special needs kids. Their assignments were slightly different. Yeah. Yeah. So that's good. So that's my issue is I'm not really a special needs teacher. I'm more like your general classroom teacher. And so I understand when kids have special needs, but I have a hard time trying to accommodate all of that and give grades. Like I know certain students, they might be doing the best they can, but they're not doing very much, but it's good for them. It's good for them what they're doing. But then I have to put a grade compared to the whole class. And I think that is kind of a little bit changing nowadays to accommodate special needs. When I homeschooled, I like to really focus on what my kids were good at. That way, if they weren't good at something, their whole life didn't depend on it. So, like my oldest daughter, she did not like math, strangely enough, even though she's my child. She wasn't really getting it, and so she had to do it. I made her do the math, but her favorite thing was music. So she loved violin. She taught violin lessons. She learned piano. She had her own violin school basically, and she did concerts and everything for the parents. So she had a lot of abilities and talents, and it wasn't necessarily math. So she didn't have to go around saying, math defines me. It's not, math wasn't defining her one way or the other. It just wasn't her best sport. But then the sister down below her, she was a whiz at everything. Like she could spell, she could do math. She was, yeah. So she is very smart and she's very focused. And so she has a whole different personality and all different things that she excels at. So everybody has their different things. So that's what I like about homeschool, is that you can kind of vary your program to what your students are good at, what they enjoy, that kind of thing. And in public school, is I do understand it's all about basic academics, right? And some kids do well in sports, some kids don't. I liked going to school because I could do everything in one place. Like we could do all of our schooling, we could meet with our friends, we could do sports, we could do recess. And I kind of like that about school, that it was all in one place. Because when I homeschooled, we would be home for school, we would visit friends, but it would be, take time out of our day. So it was like I had to run people from to this and to that. So going to school kind of helped me with not as much running around. And I felt like my kids were learning and they did pretty good. So I actually have, my youngest is 16. He has 2 years of school left, which is hard to believe. And then that's why I'm doing my tutoring business, because I want to have, it's kind of like my retirement program. So what I'm doing is kind of setting it up for the long term. And I'm planning to go back and teaching next year, but I do have some time that I usually have. I can put in some tutoring students in my open spots, but I also want to tutor for the summer, and maybe when special events come up, people need extra help, I could put in a couple of slots there. And then for the long term, if all goes well, that's kind of what I wanted for VIP Kid. I was like, I could teach VIP Kid even if I retire. If I stay home, I could. A lot of people did VIP Kid into their older years. And I thought, if I can, it would be a great job because I can be at home and still do that job. So that's my thinking. It's kind of like I'm working on it now, and I have a long-term goal. So, yeah. So if you're interested, I will put all the information below this video, and I will see you again in the next video. Please like this video. If by chance you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Tell a friend to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Kelly, for coming by, and Rebecca, and thank you so much for watching this video. See you next time. Have a great day.